chat.
All right, I have chat 2 up and going. Let's see. Let me
I think it says that you're currently streaming 2K23.
on. I'm gonna double check real quick. Fuck you.
All right.
Yeah, it looks like it's running.
Yep, it looks like
Okay.
it's running on
We
my
have
end,
people
or at least
here.
it's
All right, we have
yep.
Sleepy in here. Good, good, good. All right. Do I have everyone else?
You have a
Perfect.
chicken and a
Let me
Charlie.
just let some more people come in.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any visuals for chat, or do you want me to keep a handle on that?
I mean, I just have the like. What do you mean by visuals for chat? I have chat here.
As in, just are you able to follow it and
Yes,
respond
I
to it, or
am.
do you? Okay.
I am doing okay, chicken. Thank you for asking. It's I think we might as well get started then, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'll get it going. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to the final results stream for the TGC Tours Challenge Circuit Design Contest. Just want to say it's been a bit of a mess. Some personal issues going on in the background have kind of pushed the results back, but I'm happy to announce that the judging's all finished. Everything is set. And I think we will just go over the final top 10 courses again to refresh everybody of what those 10 courses are, and then reveal the top 10 in ranking order.
Yep.
So,
Seeing as we're doing a results stream, I certainly hope judging is done.
yeah. Also, the fact that it's been 2 months since the window closed, it's probably good to give people a refresher on the courses. But yes, it's good to finally have these results out. So let's go through the top 10 courses again. So
absolutely,
we have Barren Gorge by Sleepy Panda. Certain in one of the courses, it's kind of impressive he was able to do a course for 2K and a CC contest at the same time. He actually sent me this file. So pretty wild fantasy style course.
Making it into the top 10 in a course where you're hamstrung by, the needing to make something that fits requirements for 2K at the same time is quite an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah. All right. And then we have Beverly Shores by Slightly Saucy. And then we have Old Canmore by Chicken Wings. And we have Dunglass by B101 or Ben. We have Eastward Bound CC by Axel von Fersen. We have Old Mound by a newcomer, Drago2286. We have Golf Club di Arapante by Pat Luvar. And Faldulosis by Ryan McConnell.
I mean, we got to end on two silly ones, right? We got,
and
both of them have to have silly course names.
Yeah. Toot Le Roche, I think it's Roque, not Roche, but Roque by Energizer.
Okay, we don't quite end on those. But
No,
yes,
no.
also, yeah. And then we end on the Italian ones, yeah.
The University and the University Club by Scottish.
Oh, yes.
And before we go into top 10, those were your 10, and now we're going to do them in order. So just
Yep.
give you just
we did them not in order, and now we'll do them in order.
In order, just after the refresher. So judging was fairly consistent. I will say it was really close between quite a few courses, though. So I would say you'll kind of see as we go along. We can kind of talk about it. But going from number
Yes.
10, we have Old Mount by Drago. So I believe this is Drago's second or third course ever submitted. He's a brand new designer.
Mhm.
So coming into this contest and his first contest and getting a top 10 is quite impressive. And
Y-
you can kind of see some of the hallmarks of a newer designer. There's some sculpting issues here and there. The first couple of holes were really impressive. The par fives really stood out to me on this course in general. I'd say, yeah, there's just some hallmarks of a new designer that's kind of still figuring out like how to use the designing tools. But the golf itself was pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah, this is one where, um, like in a kind of section of the field that was very tight. Both the courses kind of on the bottom half of the top 10 and the courses that like just missed out on the top 10. The judging was very tight for all of those, and to make it this far like, is impressive in and of itself. And then yeah, it's just the when it's that tight and you're just missing like some of the little technical details and stuff that just comes with experience, yeah, it makes sense that it's going to fall below like some of the other ones in the top 10 where
Yeah.
similar quality but just executed a little bit better.
I'd say the other things that held us back is the par threes in general were probably the weakest part of the course, and there were some pins that were a bit questionable. Like hole six, pin one was a particularly nasty pin for CC. One of the great things about this contest is CC actually got to play all top 10 courses. Well, some of them were played on other tours, but all the
Mhm.
courses actually got to see play on TGC tours. So the judges actually got to see how they performed on the tours. And one of the things that came back was that CC really struggled hole six on that pin one because it was so impossible
Yeah.
to stop the ball near it. But yeah.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. We have
Yeah.
number 9. And number 9 was Barren Gorge by Sleepy Panda. Now, this is one of the ones where it's always hard to get a more fantasy style course to do well in a contest like this. Judges really were impressed by the environment as always. There are some really cool holes. I think the par threes particularly stood out for me on Barren Gorge. Um, Really one of the most unique environments in the entire contest. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think once
I think
again,
it'll be one of the oh, go ahead.
I was saying once again, this course was a very, very unevenly judged. Like judges couldn't place this course. Pretty much every judge had a different opinion. That I'd say it's divisive is a good word for it. Some judges absolutely loved this course, while others didn't love a lot of the more crazy fantasy elements of it. So this was a really risky course to do for the CC contest, and I really respect that Panda went for it and did something this crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the more memorable courses in the contest for sure. And for me, it like the stuff it hits on, it hits very high on. It's just you're always going to be a little hamstrung by with the fantasy elements of it. Like I think it does it as well as you can. It's really good, but that's always going to, some judges are just going to not enjoy those as much. And when you're going up against the best of the, best of the best in a contest, it's kind of one of those where, if you lose half a step, to people who aren't going to make any mistakes, then it's hard to kind of regain that little bit of ground you might lose.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to eighth place, we have Beverly Shores by Slightly Saucy. And again, this is another one. That was kind of polarizing in the judges. There was some specific things holding it back that I remember is some of the judges are commenting they didn't love the sculpting style of the course. There's a lot of harsh edges um, that didn't feel as clean as they could be on a couple holes. I know there are comments on 18 being kind of an interesting finisher as well. In general, like it felt like we were getting really nitpicky already. Just shows how good these courses are. But yeah, in terms
Yeah,
of Beverly, it once again was like a fight over technical details.
yeah. When you get like you know, all of the courses in this top 10 are all fantastic. And so to really to separate them, you either need somebody to just absolutely knock it out of the park, or you just get kind of nitpicky. And this is just kind of one of the ones that ends up on the downside of the nitpicks.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to seventh place. We have Golf Club di Ponte by Pat Lavar. So
Yep.
there was a lot of good on this course. That town, it's kind of funny. Pat kind of, I think, got screwed by the fact that once again, he did an Italian course, and we actually have two Italian courses in the top 10. So with
Mhm.
geysers at the same time,
Yeah.
I'd say the
It's
environment
always
was, yeah.
funny. Always funny when you have like somebody go for a really niche kind of setting or idea and be like, ha, this is going to feel totally unique, and then somebody else comes up with the same one. It happens a lot.
So in terms of the golf, the stretch that you actually see in this picture on the right, the judges loved when the trees came in a little bit more on the last couple holes. It give a good flow of change of environment in that regard. The back nine, I think, really picked up steam. I think the real thing that kind of fell for this course was a lot of the golf, while very solid, wasn't as memorable as a lot of the other golf holes in the other top 10, and some of the golf holes just kind of blended together a bit in that regard. Uh, I would say, in terms of remembering individual holes, this one was a bit harder outside of some of the cooler, narrower par fives on the back nine. So I'd
Yeah, this one had high highs to me, but yeah, I agree. It the downside, or the kind of strike against this one is stretches where it just felt very anonymous. Like you end up getting sucked into the environment. Work is fantastic, and end up getting sucked into that, but the golf itself doesn't always kind of pull your attention back to it. With obviously, some exceptions of some really good holes, but as a whole, it was just, yeah, it could kind of fall off and feel a little anonymous at times.
Yeah, and that's kind of a problem with building for easier courses for CC in general, is that sometimes the when you make a hole too easy, or when you make holes on the easier side, they it can kind of lose the strategy, or kind of lose the distinction or uniqueness that you may see in harder golf holes on harder courses. So, but
For
in
sure.
terms of this one, I really did love a lot of. This is one of the few CC courses that use narrowness very well. There's a couple of par fives. I think the par fives for me in general stood out on this course. But yeah, all right. Moving on to sixth place, we have Fal de Lesis by Ryan McConnell. So in terms of
Mhm.
this course, the main thing holding it back, and I think pretty much every judge commented on it, is the 18th hole was pretty universally despised on this course. So, other than that,
Mhm.
having probably one of the weakest 18th holes, the rest of the course environment work was really well done. I mean, you can see the clubhouse here. This was a fantastic environment. Just once again, some of the holes just didn't really pop out. There was a lot of just flaw in terms of wide fairways, and uh, once again, it's not as memorable as the ones after this one. I think I'll say.
Yes. I think it is funny that, we have back to back the two courses with kind of the silliest names in the group here. And I think my notes on them are also kind of the same. A really good environment, occasionally anonymous golf that just, you know, when you're getting into top fives and stuff, it just kind of one of those where you have to be firing on all cylinders to stand above, and these two, while very good and enjoyable, just ended up on the the other side of that draw.
Yeah. All right, and now we're up to fifth place, and that is Old Canmore by Chicken Wings.
Mhm.
So I'll just say this: this is definitely Chicken's best course. The environment was really good. It was a good example of Canmore, which is near Banff Springs in that regard. I'd say the main detractors of Old Canmore actually is that it actually was probably too easy for CC. And it was actually fun because I got to schedule very fast greens on this week for this course, but and very high
Yeah.
winds. So it was just one of the cases where the greens were so mild that I actually had to crank them up a bit. So it was
Yeah.
kind of funny that this is probably the easiest course in the top 10, and it allowed me to do some very fun settings on CC because of it. But yeah, I'd say in this case, this
Mhm.
might be the only course that missed the difficulty mark by being too easy for CC. So
There's a couple of them, but this one is by far the highest, scoring of the ones that undershot.
yes, but yeah, CC got to
And it,
play it
yeah.
on a pretty extreme settings, and it played really well that week, and it definitely influenced at least my opinions on it quite a bit. Seeing it play on harder settings, actually harder than the defaults, let me see a lot more of like the green breaks and a lot of more of the strategy of the course that maybe didn't show as much on default settings. So that's
Mhm.
one of the things that maybe other judges didn't notice as much. So but overall, a really great
Yep.
environment. Once again, probably another one of the only courses to really do this style of environment in the entire contest. So it was great. Once again, good job,
Yeah.
Chicken.
Yeah, I think my notes are I'm gonna start sounding like a broken record of great golf anonymous, or sorry, great environment anonymous feeling a golf. But we're entering, well, there's a or here's a guy territory for it. But there's kind of a theme for a lot of these top 10 courses.
Yeah. All right. Panda's asking about judging notes, and yes, there are judging notes. I can collect. I can collect judging notes for you if you ask me in a PM. And I can do that for you, Panda. And anyone else who wants judging notes, I can do the same. So please reach out to me, and I can
Yep.
send judging notes from myself and from any other judges who willingly will
Yep.
send them to me. So, all right, moving
Also, I
on.
do
Yeah.
owe all of you guys playthroughs eventually. I will get to those. It's just, life has gotten very busy, and that hasn't
Mhm.
been something time critical. So we'll get to it soon.
All right, and then fourth place we have Eastward Bound CC by Axel von Fersen. Talking about
Mhm.
big strides and improvements, Axel really hit it out of the park with this one and released by far his best course by a mile.
Mhm.
There's a lot of really good golf here, and just the environment, the bunker styling, everything. There was a lot of work going into this, and you can see it's made it to the front page of 2K25 when you open the game. You get to see it front
Yeah.
and center. Really, this is one of those where it's just in the top three courses just did something slightly better, and I'd say detraction wise, once again, following Matt's play, there were some holes that didn't really stand out as much on this one as well. But there wasn't really as much of a weak point for this course for me. The par threes did it really well. The flow of the course was great.
Yeah. I think for me, I think some of the I'll be honest, I don't remember which hole specifically it was. But like some of the short par fours, like some of the holes on the water, like either were very good or very like bad for me. So this one for me had very high highs, but some kind of uh misfires along the way that prevented it from like easily being in that top three group.
Yeah. And now going into the top three, third place we have Tout Le Roc by Energizer. And I'd
Yep.
say this one was interesting because this was the only unanimous judge placement. Every single
Yeah.
judge rated this third, with no exception.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
environment where
where the rest of the top 10 got really muddled, the top 3 felt a little more clear and, like, basically, this was kind of in its own little tier of just like, "Yep, we all agreed on the top 2 courses," and then everyone agreed that this was above the rest of them, so it got to live in its own it had its own little island going on.
yeah. And as you see, I was just pointing out on the par threes, the environment uh at times would be this detailed. There were spots on the course that were because Geyser went so far on some of his like sculpting and his rock work, made other holes feel a little bit more empty for me in that regard. But again, the golf was really solid. This was another course that played, I'd say, on the easier end for CC and got high, some higher winds got to be thrown in. I think a very high wind week was on this week as well. So in terms of difficulty, and it's probably just a sign of this game versus previous games. CC definitely is playing harder this year than it has in the past. In terms of you can put on harder courses, just because people seem to be much better at 2K25 than they were at previous games. So this was another course that a lot of the times felt like you could overpower any difficulty or strategy by really just bombing the ball and getting away with it a lot of the time. So it didn't quite break into the top two because of that, but the golf was just really, really like just solid throughout. I didn't think it had a necessary low point. And Matt, did you want to add anything?
Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by Orion at the moment. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, but yeah, I think it was you know, it being a touch on the easy side meant that it just wasn't quite as engaging on repeat plays, but like it's you know, it's really stellar work throughout.
Mhm.
It's you know, just nitpicky things which you really have to you know, rank any of these.
All right. And now we're down to the top two. So just a reminder before I go to second place, we have the University Club by Scottish and Dunglass by B101. All right.
Mhm.
And so the next slide will also technically reveal the winner. All right.
Yeah.
So for second place, we have the University Club by Scottish. And
Yep.
this was really close. There was actually a lot of judge discussion between this and Dunglass. And one of the main things that ended up holding the University Club back is just the very small nitpick that a lot of the holes played too short for 2K25. This was a case of after seeing Dunglass and University Club both played back to back in CC. The main thing about the University Club that kind of held it back was how short a lot of the course was. There wasn't really a long par four on the course. A lot of the par fives were abused by CC's driving distance. And I think it's just a matter of I don't think Scottish necessarily designed as in detail for the game itself as Ben did, and Dunglass just played spectacularly on CC. So when it came down to like holes and whole ideas between the two, it was just a matter of we liked so much the both courses pretty much equally. They were almost neck to neck tied going in. The real tiebreaker ended up being how they actually performed on CC. And yeah, it's just a matter of
Yep.
Dunglass really held everyone's interest playing it 4 consecutive rounds in a row. University Club, a lot of the cooler holes and ideas from the hummock holes to the par fives. After 4 rounds, you kind of learned that you could avoid a lot of the strategy for a lot of the holes by just blasting like a power drive over everything. So it was just a matter of Ben's course after 4 rounds. Dunglass just played consistently well and interesting in pretty much every wind condition we threw at it, every like different wind direction. It was just very consistently performed better in CC and when played through. And University Club also was, again, slightly too easy for CC in that regard. I mean, there was a 510-yard par 5, and University probably is more like a real life course where it probably play amazing in real life, but in terms of video game, and we have to rate it by how well it plays in 2K25 specifically, Dunglass played better, ever so slightly.
Oh yeah. I think it's um University had maybe the highest highs in the contest for me, and the things I liked about it I really loved, but Dunglass also had some fantastic stuff and basically kind of, it's quite nearly flawless, where the University Club has a couple spots that just didn't, either didn't quite hold up to CC, or were a little like mixed reception in terms of individual holes, that kind of thing. And Dunglass is just sort of a tour de force of taking the best that Scotland has to offer and making it accessible and useful as a CC course. It does it very well.
Yeah. And sorry about how long this took. I'm glad to get the results out. I don't think
Yes.
we
The Kurt
necessarily have a schedule for the next design contest just yet. Any updates on that, Matt?
I don't have any currently. We might, like, I think we may have some ideas for like some little side things in the meantime, but we'll get back to contests at some point here soon. But I think everybody who, the group of people who usually steps up to run these things is, you know, either away or is ready for a bit of a break. So I think, doing a little bit of a little bit of a holiday for like main contests might be in order.
Yeah. And then once again,
But we'll let you know whenever that changes.
shout out to all the judges. A lot of the judges had to work with my schedule constantly having to change and being in flux. We had more judges than this for the initial. These were the final top 10 judges. And special thanks again because we didn't get the video playthroughs out like we wanted, and Sand Groper did a wonderful job of making a full playlist of every playthrough of every CC course in the entire contest, all 40 of them. And once again, the challenge circuit, the TGC Tours challenge circuit, got to play pretty much all of them, and that also helped quite a bit with judging because we got to see actual CC players play it quite frequently this time around because of the delay, I guess, in the judging. It got us to see pretty much every course in context of CC itself, so that did help. But yeah,
Mhm.
Thanks again for showing up. Thanks for coming to the results show. Again, I apologize for the delay, but uh, congrats to
Life
Ben and
happens
Dunglass.
sometimes.
Yeah, life did happen quite a bit. So, all
Yep.
right.
Thanks for all of the people who participated in it. Like, obviously, hopefully you guys had as much fun as with it as we did. And, these contests can't happen without the people who are willing to, take the time to design courses for it. And we appreciate all of the people who entered and, you know, sunk a good chunk of time into making stuff that the rest of us can enjoy.
Yeah, and as I said before, the skill floor of this contest was higher than ever before. The I think top 30 courses in this contest could have probably been in the top 20 of any previous contest. Everyone's just getting so much better
Yeah.
at designing. It's very clear. Becoming even harder to figure out. Even the top 20 for this contest was very difficult to narrow down. So again,
hmm
thanks to all
I
who
always,
participated. I
yeah,
genuinely
I always
enjoyed
joke
playing pretty
that.
much every one of these courses. So yeah.
Absolutely. I always joke that for every contest, I have 15 top 10 courses, and now I think that's getting to the point where I have 25 to 30 top 10 courses.
Yeah, exactly. Because we'd be looking at courses and being like, oh, this is probably a top 10 course. And it's like, oh, we just had 20 of these. So yeah, that kind of
Yes.
did end up happening during judging. But again, uh, thanks all for participating. And once again, congrats to Ben for winning.
Yeah.
I know it might be a little predictable, but yeah, at this point, Ben has won a lot. But Dunglass really, I think, was the well deserved winner for this contest. So,
Yep. Yep. If you keep making really good courses, you're going to win contests. That just happens sometimes.
all right. And with that, I'll sign off. So, cheers.
Yep. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great evening.